welcome to NHK Newsline. I'm Yoshikana Ryuichi in Tokyo. We start in North Korea, where a failure to launch could be sinking the careers of senior officials or wars. Pyongyang says authorities have detained several people over a serious accident involving a new warship. The incident last week appears to have enraged North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Reports in the ruling party's newspaper say that investigators have detained 4 officials so far. They include a senior party official as well as the chief engineer of a shipyard in the northeastern city of Chongjin, where the warship was built. The destroyer was damaged during its launch ceremony, which was attended by Kim himself. Satellite imagery taken on Saturday showed the destroyer on its side and partially submerged, surrounded by other vessels. North Korean media says salvage work is underway. The country's leader has claimed the incident was caused by a criminal act. He says senior officials' irresponsible errors will be raised at a major party meeting next month. 3 months has passed since extensive wildfires hit Osunato City in northeastern Japan's Ibaraki Prefecture. Local fishermen lost their equipment in the blaze and suffered major damages. But now they are trying to revive the industry with the help of old friends. The wildfire started on February 26th and was declared extinguished on April 7th. More than 3,300 hectares were burned. Among the damaged buildings was the warehouse of the Yodi Fishermen's Cooperative. Its members have been unable to go fishing since, as they had stored their nets there. The fishermen would normally catch tuna and mackerel in May, but if they order new nets now, they would not arrive in time for the season. So last week, members of the cooperative headed to a fishery company in the neighboring prefecture of Miyagi. About 30 years ago, when the company was expanding, the cooperative donated its second-hand nets. To return that favor, the company has offered to lend the nets to the cooperative free of charge. We owe them a great favor, so we want to help them any way possible. On Monday, the fishermen were seen mending the nets they had borrowed. The nets look more amazing than I expected, so I can't wait to use them. They hope to begin fishing in early June. This year marks 8 decades since the end of World War II. The remains of Japanese nationals, most of whom died overseas during the war, have been laid to rest at a cemetery in central Tokyo. A memorial was held at Shortwave National Cemetery on Monday. More than 600 people took part. They included Crown Prince and Princess Akishino, as well as representatives of bereaved families. The remains of the 368 war dead newly laid to rest were recovered from areas including the Bismarck Archipelago in the South Pacific. This brings the total number of war dead interred at the cemetery to over 371,000. The government says it will speed up efforts to collect the remains of the country's war dead. Those of about 1.12 million Japanese are still unrecovered from former battle sites in and outside Japan. This 83-year-old woman's father died in the Pacific Ocean while serving in the Imperial Japanese Navy.
When I think that my father still lies in the ocean pool with his ship, I feel such unbearable grief that we want to hold him in our own arms if possible.
The woman said she hopes the government will keep working to return as many war dead as possible to their families. Police in Okinawa have arrested a U.S. Marine over a hit-and-run incident in the southern Japanese prefecture. The officers say 20-year-old Lance Corporal Ivan Garcia Martinez is stationed at the Marines Camp Hansen. They say he was driving a car that collided with another in Naha City around 10:30 a.m. on Sunday. 4 people in the other car, including a 7-year-old boy and a 10-year-old girl, sustained minor injuries. Garcia Martinez allegedly abandoned the car and fled the scene. Police found and arrested him about 1 hour later. The suspect told investigators that he caused the crash, but he denied an allegation that he failed to provide first aid. The police say Garcia Martinez's alcohol level was about double the legal limit. Meanwhile, another Marine was arrested on Monday in Okinawa City on suspicion of drunk driving. The 23-year-old reportedly told officers he thought the effects of alcohol had worn off. A note from a late Japanese scholar who revealed a secret nuclear pact between Japan and the U.S. over Okinawa will soon be donated to the prefecture. Wakaizumi K was a key negotiator in its return from U.S. rule, but lived with guilt over some elements of the deal. He served as then Prime Minister Sato Eisaku's secret envoy, working separately from Japan's foreign ministry. His talks with U.S. officials led to Okinawa's reversion in 1972. In 1994, Wakaizumi published a book disclosing that the talks included a secret deal. Washington agreed to withdraw its nuclear weapons in Okinawa, but Tokyo agreed to allow those weapons to be reintroduced during times of crisis. Wakaizumi is also said to have felt huge responsibility for the heavy confiscation of U.S. military facilities in Okinawa following its return. Today, the prefecture hosts about 70% of U.S. military facilities in Japan. Before his death in 1996, Wakaizumi wrote a note addressed to the people of Okinawa in which he said he would kill himself to take accountability for the result. Now, that note is being donated to the prefecture by one of the scholar's friends to commemorate Wakaizumi and mark 80 years since the end of World War II. The note will be displayed at the Okinawa Prefectural Archives from September. The Japanese Agriculture Ministry will soon start selling its stockpiles of rice directly to retailers instead of through auctions. It's the latest government effort aimed at taming the soaring price of the country's staple grain. Ministry officials say the stockpiles will now be released through no-bid contracts with major retailers. That includes e-commerce platforms that can handle rice in bulk. A total of 300,000 tons from 2021 and 2022 will be up for sale. The ministry aims to set the retail price before tax at around 2,000 yen, or about $14. This is about half what consumers are paying at the moment. Agriculture Minister Koizumi Shinjiro spoke at the inaugural meeting of a task force implementing the plan.
Without doubt, the top priority for the Agriculture Ministry is to stabilise rice prices. We face the urgent challenge of delivering low-priced, tasty rice to consumers as quickly as possible to prevent consumers from shying away from the staple food. This is our responsibility.
The 500-member task force includes personnel from regional bureaus. An expert says that stockpiled rice will likely sell at the government's target price once it lands on supermarket shelves, but he's skeptical whether that will lower prices of other rice.
Retailers have paid high prices to purchase the non-stockpiled rice, so lowering the retail price depends on whether those retail businesses can absorb those losses. I think this will be an experiment to see what the better distribution method is and where the better price will settle.
The latest government data shows prices at supermarkets are still on the rise despite the release of stockpiled grain. Leaders of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations came together on Monday for a summit in the Malaysian capital, Kuala Lumpur. The situation in Myanmar was at the top of their agenda in the wake of a massive earthquake 2 months back. Earlier, NHK Royal Lim Winfon joined us from the summit venue.
So, Lim Winfon, what was the main thing the leaders focused on?
Well, this was the first ASEAN summit meeting since the devastating earthquake in March. So the leaders talked about how to support the country, which has largely been under military control for 4 years. After the quake, the military reached out to the international community for support in an unprecedented way. ASEAN seems to want to use this moment to set up dialogue and move things towards a peaceful resolution. In fact, the ASEAN chair, Malaysia's Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, has taken a proactive approach in trying to break the deadlock. Anwar recently announced plans to send a special envoy for talks with both the military and the pro-democracy camp. Last month, he held discussions with the junta's top commander, General Min Aung Hlaing. He also spoke aloud with representatives of the democracy side.
So how can ASEAN deal with this frustrating problem in the region?
I must say, things are not easy. ASEAN has a difficult task in trying to balance keeping communications open and condemning the violence. An expert on ASEAN in Bangkok says expanding support following the recent disaster could even make the situation worse. I think the international community will have to be very careful in its engagement with Myanmar, particularly now. I think the military junta is using the earthquake as a pretext, as a condition to grant itself a level of legitimacy without ability to monitor, to make sure that the ceasefire follow through. I think ASEAN and the international community risk, helping contribute to the Myanmar junta survival. Shortly after the coup in 2021, the junta agreed with ASEAN on the 5-point plan. Based on this plan, ASEAN has provided humanitarian assistance to people affected both by the fighting and the earthquake. However, the points of the plan has not been realized. They include an immediate end to the violence and having an ASEAN envoy mediate dialogue between the two sides. ASEAN is also considering appointing a permanent special envoy to Myanmar who needs to end the crisis. It will be worth watching what the organization can do to help people in the war-torn country.
Rainy season has only just been declared in parts of southwestern Japan, but signs of the annual pattern is showing up in other parts of the country. Our meteorologists therefore all have a look at the details in world weather. Hello, we are seeing plenty of clouds that have been coming from a stationary front in the south of the Pacific side of Japan, so it may feel like the rainy season in some parts of Japan, but we're seeing the signs of the season, things that we typically see this time of year in central portions of the country. Take a look at this video coming out of Yamata Prefecture, and signs of the upcoming rainy season start to appear in parts of the area this past weekend. Hydrangea and four-story temples in Yamata Prefecture were in full bloom. Even so, the rainy season has not yet been declared here. At Shibosaka Temple in Prefecture, about 250 blue, purple, and pink hydrangeas and pots surround the great Buddha is there. The rainy season is expected to begin and be declared in early June, which is typical for that area as we go into the first part of the next month. Now, I mentioned that we have the clouds and a cooler pattern across the Pacific side of Japan, and that'll be the case again as we go throughout the day on Tuesday. May have to dodge even possibly see showers as we go through the day. We were talking Tokyo, really picking up with the cloud cover, a bit on the brighter side back to the south and west, and even to the north. There's a couple of minutes that may actually be warmer in Tokyo as we go through the day on Tuesday. We broaden out the view. A lot of heavy rainfalls that impact the southern areas of China. That will still be the case as we go into Tuesday. Flooding problems will be a part of the story as well, at least the possibility of it as we go forward in time. Rain is high with a high of 27, Shanghai 27 as well. Beijing cloudy but hot with a high of 32 as we go through the day on Tuesday. Meanwhile, across North America, southern areas of the United States, looking at these storms firing up as we have a couple low push systems in the region. And so we will see strong, even severe thunderstorm possibilities as we go throughout the Monday into Tuesday as well. A place like Tuesday into Atlanta, we see some thunderstorms for the day. Hope you have a good day wherever you are. That wraps up this edition of NHK. Yes, I'm Yoshikawa in Tokyo. Thank you very much for joining us on NHK World Japan.
NHK World Japan မြန်မာဘာသာနဲ့တင်ဆက်နေပါတယ်ခင်ဗျာဂျပန်စံတော်ချိန်မနေ့9:30မိနစ်မြန်မာစံတော်ချိန်မနေ့9:00နာရီအချိန်မှာတိုင်းတို့13633ကီလိုဝတ်ကနေဂျပန်စံတော်ချိန်ည7:30မိနစ်မြန်မာစံတော်ချိန်ည9:00နာရီမှာတော့တိုင်းတို့1.5ကီလိုဝတ်ကနေအစဒေတာကိုသတင်းနဲ့အစီအစဉ်တွေနေ့စဉ်ထုတ်လွှင့်နေပါလိမ့်နောက်တိုင်းနဲ့သတင်းနဲ့အစီအစဉ်တွေကိုတော့nhk.jp/burmese မှာသိရှိနိုင်ပါတယ်
ဆင်းလာကိုတမန်တော်တွေရှိ NHK ဝကြနာတဲ့ရေကိုတင်ဆက်ပါမယ်ဒီကနေ့2025ခုနှစ်မေလ26ရက်တနင်္လာနေ့ည9:30မှာရရှိတဲ့သတင်းတွေကိုကျွန်မပွင့်ကတင်ဆက်ပါမယ်။နောက်လာမှာကျွန်တော်ဒီစံကလေးစီရဲ့ဒီစီလေးနဲ့ American တမန်တော်နဲ့တွေ့ဆုံပြီးသဘောတူညီချက်တစ်ခုခုရရှိနိုင်ရေးအတွက် American နဲ့ပြည်သက်ခွန်ဆိုင်ရာညှိနှိုင်းမှုတွေဆက်လက်လုပ်ဆောင်ဖို့စီစဉ်ထားတယ်လို့ဂျပန်ဝန်ကြီးချုပ် Ishida Shigeru ကထုတ်ဖော်ပြောကြားခဲ့ပါတယ်။ Mr. Ishida ပြည်သက်ခွန်ဆိုင်ရာညှိနှိုင်းမှုဖြစ်တဲ့စီးပွားရေးပြည်နယ်အားလုံးပါစီဝန်ကြီးအကောင့်ဆောင်ကမျိုးစီနဲ့တနင်္ဂနွေနေ့မှာတွေ့ဆုံခဲ့ပါတယ်။ Mr. Ishida ဟာအမေရိကန်ကွန်ဂရက်ကိုယ်စားလှယ်ဂျာမီဆန်ဂရီအပါအဝင်အကြီးအကဲရာရှိတွေနဲ့ဝါရှင်တန်မှာတွေ့ဆုံခဲ့ပြီးနောက်ဂျပန်ကိုပြန်လာခဲ့ပါတယ်။ဒီနေ့ကျတော့သူကအခုနောက်ဆုံးစီးပွားရေးမှုမှာဆက်လက်ခဲ့တဲ့အကြောင်းအရာတွေနဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးရှင်းပြပြောကြားခဲ့ပါတယ်။အစောပိုင်းမှာ Mr. Ishida ကဂျပန်ကိုယ်စားလှယ်အဖွဲ့ဟာလာမယ့် G7 ထိပ်သီးစည်းဝေးကိုစိတ်ထဲထားပြီးအမေရိကန်ရာရှိတွေနဲ့ဆက်လက်ဆွေးနွေးသွားမယ်လို့ပြောကြားခဲ့ပါတယ်။ G7 ခေါင်းဆောင်တွေရဲ့အစည်းအဝေးကိုဇွန်လလယ်ကျရင်ကနေဒါနိုင်ငံမှာပြုလုပ်ဖို့စီစဉ်ထားပါတယ်။ဂျပန်မှာရှိတဲ့အမေရိကန်စစ်လေယာဉ်တွေကြောင့်အမေရိကန်စစ်လေယာဉ်တွေနဲ့အာတိတ်သမုဒ္ဒရာအတွင်းမောင်းနှင်သွားလာရေးနဲ့တခြားရည်ရွယ်ချက်အတွက်အသုံးပြုတဲ့ရေခဲခွဲတင်မော်တွေပြည်မှာပူးပေါင်းဆောင်ရွက်မှုတွေလှုံ့ဆော်အားပေးဖို့ သူ့ဆိုရတာစဉ်းစားနေလို့ Mr. Ishibaka ပြောကြားခဲ့ပါတယ်။နိုင်ငံကုန်သွယ်ရေးညီနိုင်မှုတွေမှာဂျပန်ကတင်မောတီဆော်ရေးကဏ္ဍမှာပုံစံဆိုင်ရာအစီအစဉ်တွေရဲ့ရည်ရွယ်ဖို့အဆိုပြုခဲ့ပါတယ်။အမေရိကန်တန်တာရေးဝန်ကြီး Scott Benson ဟာအခုနောက်ဆုံးဆွေးနွေးပွဲကိုမတင်ရောက်ခဲ့ပါဘူး။မင်းသားလည်းဒါမှမဟုတ်အဲ့ဒီနောက်ပိုင်းမှာနိုင်ငံအကျဉ်းနဲ့ဆွေးနွေးကြဖို့သဘောတူထားပြီးဖြစ်တဲ့ Mr. Akasama ကပြောကြားခဲ့ပါတယ်။နှစ်ပတ်စလုံးအတွက်အဆင်ပြေတဲ့အချိန်မျိုးမှာသူတို့တွေ့ဆုံဆွေးနွေးနိုင်လို့မျှော်လင့်ကြောင်းလည်းသူကပြောပါတယ်။Mr. Akasama နဲ့ Mr. Benson တို့ပါဝင်တဲ့ဆွေးနွေးပွဲကိုအခုသတင်းပတ်အနောက်ပိုင်းမှာပြုလုပ်နိုင်ဖို့ဂျပန်အစိုးရကမျှော်လင့်ထားပါတယ်ရှင်။အမေရိကန်သမ္မတဒေါ်နယ်ထရန့်ကဂျပန်စီနဲ့သဘောတူညီမှုရပြီးနောက် USC ဟာအမေရိကန်ရဲ့အထူးချုပ်မှုအောက်မှာဆက်ရှိနေမှာဖြစ်ပြီးဂျပန်စီကတစ်စိတ်တစ်ပိုင်းအဖြစ်ပိုင်ဆိုင်မှုရှိပါမယ်လို့ပြောကြားခဲ့ပါတယ်။ဂျပန်စီကုမ္ပဏီက USD ကုမ္ပဏီကိုဝယ်ယူမဲ့အစီအစဉ်နဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးကမ္ဘာ့နိုင်ငံသတင်းတောက်တွေအရင်းအမြစ်ကိုမစ္စတာဖရန့်ကအဲ့လိုမှတ်ချက်ပြုခဲ့တာဖြစ်ပါတယ်။အမေရိကန်ကတင်ပြထားတယ်ဒီလိုမှမဟုတ်ရင်ကျွန်တော်တို့ဘောမဟုတ်ဘူးလို့သူကပြောကြားခဲ့ပါတယ်။ဒေသတွင်းကနေပေါ်စီကိုအလွန်ကောင်းတဲ့ကုမ္ပဏီလို့ခေါ်ဆိုခဲ့ပြီးဒါဟာယင်းနှိမ့်ရုံနဲ့မှုတစ်ခုဖြစ်ပြီးတစ်စိတ်တစ်ပိုင်းပိုင်ဆိုင်မှုဖြစ်တယ်လို့ပြောကြားခဲ့ပါတယ်။ဒါဆိုတော့တူညီချက်ကဘယ်လိုဖြစ်လာမလဲဆိုတာကတော့မသိကြမရသေးပါဘူး။ဒေသတွင်းကအဆုံးကြတာပေါ်လို့ပြောကြားခဲ့ပါတယ်။နောက်ဆောင်ရအဒုမှုကွန်ရက်မီဒီယာတစ်ခုမှာအမေရိကန်သမ္မတအမေရိကန်နဲ့ဂျပန်တမီထုတ်လုပ်တဲ့နေရာစီစဉ်ထားတဲ့ပူးပေါင်းဆောင်ရွက်မှုတို့သူခေါ်ဆိုတဲ့အရာကိုအတည်ပြုရွေးချက်ကိုရေးသားခဲ့ပါတယ်။ဆိုတော့ငါရဲ့နေနဲ့ဆောင်ထားတဲ့အသေးစိတ်ဆုံးဖြတ်ချက်မချတဲ့သဘောတူညီချက်ကိုစဉ်းစားနေစေဖြစ်တဲ့ဆိုတာသူရဲ့အခုနောက်ဆုံးမှတ်ချက်တွေရနိုင်ပြနေပါတယ်။အမေရိကန်မီဒီယာဘလုံးဘက်ကရင်းနှီးမြှုပ်နှံသူတွေအမှုဆောင်ရာရှိတွေနဲ့တန်တမန်တွေဟာအမေရိကန်သမ္မတရဲ့အတည်ပြုချက်နဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးတိကျမသိကြသေးပါဘူးလို့ဆိုပါတယ်ရှင်။ USD ကိုဝယ်ယူမဲ့အစီအစဉ်နဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးအမေရိကန်သမ္မတဒေါ်နယ်ထရန့်ရဲ့မှတ်ချက်ပေါ်ထင်မြင်ချက်ပေးဖို့ဂျပန်သမ္မတတို့နီပွန်စတီကုမ္ပဏီကညှိဆိုခဲ့ပါတယ်။နီပွန်စတီနဲ့စာချုပ်ချုပ်ဆိုပြီးနောက်ပိုင်းမှာလည်း USD ကအမေရိကန်ထိန်းချုပ်မှုအောက်မှာလက်ရှိနေမှာဖြစ်တယ်လို့လက်ချာကတဲ့ဝင်ကြီးမှာပြောကြားခဲ့ပါတယ်။ဂျပန်ကုမ္ပဏီကတစ်စိတ်တစ်ပိုင်းအပြင်ပိုင်ဆိုင်မှုရှိမယ်လို့လည်းသူကပြောကြားခဲ့ပါတယ်။ဂျပန်အစိုးရရဲ့တန်ကြောရေးဆိုခွင့်ရှိသူဟာယာရှိယောရှိမာစာတနင်္လာနေ့ကတင်ပြပေးခဲ့တာမှာအစိုးရကမစ္စတာထရန့်ရဲ့မှတ်ချက်ကိုသိရှိထားပေမဲ့အဲဒီကိစ္စနဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးအမေရိကန်ရဲ့တရားဝင်ကြေညာချက်ကိုဆောင်ပိုင်းမှာဖြစ်တယ်လို့ဆိုပါတယ်။အမေရိကန်ကဏ္ဍသက်ဆိုင်သူတွေကခိုင်မာတဲ့ရင်းနှီးမြှုပ်နှံမှုအစီအစဉ်တစ်ခုကိုလေ့လာပြီးညီနိုင်ဆောင်ရွက်နေတယ်လို့လည်းမစ္စတာဟာယာရှိကပြောကြားခဲ့ပါတယ်။လူဝက်ပါကသက်ဆိုင်သူတွေကဟန်ချင်းညီလှုပ်ဆောင်ဖို့အစိုးရကဆောင်ရွက်တော့မှဖြစ်တယ်လို့သူကပြောကြားခဲ့ပါတယ်ရှင်။